They're all Chinese though, right?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think
It just depends whether it comes out of the front door of the factory or the back door of the factory. Let's face it. Yeah. Get the one with the label or with the wonky stuff that they got from the wonky back door of the previous place. They got it from the wonky back door of somewhere else.
Well,
I've been messing around with those smart lights. They're fun as hell.
The which ones?
The smart lights.
Oh yeah.
So this is candlelight, and then I can go up to daylight.
I like it.
What you want to do is put a sniffer on those things as well. Is sit between the circuits and see the kind of crazy shit you can mess around with. And then when you've done that, take a couple of them to pieces and look at the circuit boards and see if those ones have got the see if they've got the ability to enable audio as well.
My dog's not interested in what I'm doing with the room lights right now from my phone.
Yeah, they're fun. It is. I've got like a properly in the house. I've got both the GEs and the Philips ones running. It's actually, they're kind of nice. I like them. All right, I am going to get myself some liquid. I'll be back in a sec. Actually, I got water. I'm going to get myself something else.
Welcome, everybody. We are live.
Oh yeah, shit. That's right. We got a thing going on, don't we?
We do. Welcome to the shit show.
Yeah, welcome.
We started almost on time. That's on me.
That's pretty close, yeah.
But we had a rough start like we normally do. Not really a formal, not like we do on our other podcasts.
What?
I was saying that we don't really have a formal start to the show like we do on our other podcasts. Because it's the shit show.
Here's a shit show.
So I was telling you earlier about.
Does my face look funny right now?
Yes.
Yeah, Thursday nights, man, so broken. Me.
So broken you? This Thursday? Or all?
Yeah,
Thursday?
I'm broken mentally. Well, all of them, pretty much. I was doing some website development. I didn't know I was a web developer now, but I am.
Oh, yeah, no, you are not. No, you are not. And per my email. No, you are not. Read my email. Trust me, not happening.
Already did it.
Well, you're not an SEO guy, so we'll get that straightened out.
No, we do the development, and then the SEO people do the SEO, don't they?
Well, I don't know. I want a black box where things work. Requirements go in, work product comes out.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
So yeah, but exciting times. I'm glad to hear you were doing some web development. And how did you find working with that particular platform?
That's WordPress. It's easy. But we had 22 plugins that were out of date, and WordPress itself was out of date.
Holla at your boy sometime around the 20th.
No, it's all updated now.
No, I know, but just like, yeah. So, well, fun. Well, good. I'm glad you got to that. That's
I didn't break anything.
Important task that we need to.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah. And that actually kind of fits well with tonight's show topic, right? What the hell were they thinking? And we see this with plugins. Well,
is this your topic?
I have no idea whose it is. I'm just trying to pull us into some semblance of a track for the poor listeners, for those that are still hanging on.
No. We don't
Hang
do
on,
that.
we got an official. We have an official.
Yeah, the first 10, 15 minutes.
No, that was me. That was me.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'm adjusting to the new process. My apologies.
Yeah, that was me. I got the script up here. Well, not the script, the whatever, the spreadsheet.
I should probably do the same. Yeah.
And isn't like the first 10, 15 minutes like us just catching up with each other?
Catching up, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sorry. We'll get better.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
It's more fun this way.
We'll improve.
Yeah.
We will. I promise.
want to improve. I like it as it is. I must feel like I want to put the light on.
So,
Maybe if I do.
Evan, I have exciting news to share. After extensive effort, I was able to convince my father to think about going with me, not this trip, but some trip in the future, down to visit you. This is a lifelong thing I've been working on. Ever since I've had 2 nickels to rub together that were more than I needed for food, I've been trying to do something for the old man, take him somewhere, give him something. Nope, never, nothing. So I was on the phone with him, call me on some, can you find a thing on the Facebook? Oh, dear God. So since we were on the internet together, I sent him to the website. I said, hey, you should type this in Google real quick. And so I had him pull up the site and look at the photos. And he's like, oh, this is great. Oh, where's this or whatever? And I'm like, that's the place I keep telling you about that I want to take you.
Yeah.
So he agreed to think about it.
That's a step. Yeah, exactly.
Progress. For him, that's a big.
Oh,
Nice. That's good.
so, but some people aren't very good at thinking.
Yeah, okay, you're not wrong.
So I get a little scared when they say, I think about it. I'm like, I don't know if you should do that.
Well, yeah.
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 No
I don't know,
thinking.
crazy.
Don't do it.
Tell your crazy story. Tell the New Year's.
Oh,
Let's share with everybody.
Let's hear all the entire New Year's. Yeah, it's been a shit show for all of us since last bloody fucking week, hasn't it? Yeah, Evan, you two are up first.
All right. So we'll do our port of like the last 6 days, and then Chris will hear from you because I want to hear how you're doing and stuff too. So yeah, New Year's Eve, the NHL, invited FR Secure, and FR Secure to what the hell was it? Oh, the New Year's Eve bash and
Winter Classic.
yeah, there you go. And I've got a foot in both sides, so we brought Secure Studio too. So Ryan came, and before the bash on New Year's Eve, we decided to go have drinks and appetizers and everything at Glick's, which is in downtown Minneapolis. And so we swung by, picked up Ryan, went down there, parked the car in a lot, paid our fee, and walked away, locked it, had the keys in my pocket, went and did our drinks, came back out, and as we're walking back to the lot, I'm like, that car over there looks a lot like mine, but I'm not sure. So I knew that our car had a whole bunch of, like, Marlis, like my wife, she likes putting these stickers on the back from places she's visited and stuff. So I'm like, well, I'll walk around the back and check it out. So I start kind of meandering over there because I didn't want to alert anybody if it was our car. And I'm like, son of a bitch, that is our car. Well, about that same time, me and the driver locked eyes, and he realized, like, oh shit, you're the owner. And I'm like, oh shit, you're in my fucking car. And so I start running after him, and then he backs up, almost hits me, peels out, almost hits Marlis, almost hits Ryan. Ryan's like, nobody fucks with my friend. And so Ryan's like on top of the damn thing, movie style, while the guy is peeling out through the parking lot and crashes through the gate, and then crashes into, T-bones a minivan, backs up, and books out of there. There's nothing you can do to stop a car. So, yeah, we got that shit on video. Do you want to see the video? The video is pretty fucking cool. Do you saw the video? Yeah.
Yeah, you sent it over. I don't think anybody who's on probably hasn't seen it.
So I'm hanging on to this thing, banging on the window, yelling at the guy. We go through the barrier. I'm still hanging onto the car. We hit the minivan. I'm still hanging onto the car. He peels off, and when I because this happened so fast, right? So
yeah.
As he starts to really accelerate, the risk calculator kicked in, and I'm like, I'm not dying tonight, right? Yeah. But don't steal from my friends. Definitely don't do it in front of me. And Evan, of all people,
Yeah.
Like, and plus I was already whipped up about something else. So it was a compound, like there was some whipped upness from a previous issue that was still simmering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and so, you'll see when the vehicles come up here, this is a guy's dash cam. Because I'm like, after the shit went down, I'm like, all right, what kind of evidence do we have? I'm looking for cameras and things. And this guy, I found that he had a dash cam. So then I had him send it to me. So this is his dash cam video of the event. You're going to see my car come peeling out of the left side from left to right and T-bone into a minivan. You can see the time. That time is actually accurate. It was New Year's Eve at 9:08, p.m. But this is what it looks like.
Oh yeah, shit.
Fucking people.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so there goes my car. Ah, shit. Yeah, and so you can see the T-bone there and Ryan and me and the dude that just got his car hit. Yep, that's it. So that was New Year's Eve. Since then, it's just been normal squirrel shit, for the last week. I decided I wanted to build a Python vulnerability scanner, which is pretty easy to build, but then I started writing a whole bunch of other shit in that. I don't know what the fuck I was doing that for. State work, a lot of states doing a lot of shit. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. It's my life.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of Cooper Mini.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chris picked out the turbos. Now, Chris, do we have to cold set those or can we put those on? Like, are we gonna need to deep freeze the turbo first?
I'm letting Swede do everything that Swede needs to do. We're just going to bring Swede up, open up the toolbox, and let him go for it. It's much simpler that way.
I feel like Swede's the kind of guy you could give one of those like Target at home like repair toolkit kits to, one of those like really shitty ones with like only a handful of sockets and they're all the wrong size, and still do something cool.
Oh yeah, totally. He's just freaking amazing that way. Yeah, it would be good to let him loose on it, definitely. Yeah, that thing's got all sorts of opportunities for upgrade, from turbos to exhausts. Obviously, if the turbos come off, then the cat system's going to have to change. Suspension, all sorts of fun things. I mean, quite honestly, we could go. Oh my gosh, what was the movie? Oh gosh, what the hell was it? It was a McCain movie.
A who?
The hell was the movie? Movie with minis. There we go. The Italian Job. Michael Caine.
Oh, okay. Which one was he in? You watched The Italian Job?
The Italian Job. It was the original one, and then Mark Wahlberg and whatever else is did afterwards. But the original Italian Job is, God, that was like late 60s, early 70s, I want to say.
Nice.
Totally fantastic. Just one of those old classic style, just a good movie.
I like it.
So that's the original minis they did. Now the new Italian Job, they did it with the newer minis, which is where we can have a little bit of fun with the mini.
Yeah, that's cool. I've seen some people do some pretty insane stuff with those little cars.
Well, if it's heading down south, I mean, we should probably turn it into almost a rally spec mini, so you can actually put better suspension on it, probably slightly larger wheels and tires, so you'll have more grip in both good and crappy weather. I would probably put some kind of roll cage-esque base thing, either inside or outside of it. Maybe outside, because that'll look cool. You can attach a couple of the petrol jerry cans on it. You have some fun with the damn thing.
Now we're thinking air ride suspension though, right?
No, we don't want to load the damn thing. We'll put proper decent Bilsteins and some other good stuff on it.
Because there's some bumpy roads down there.
Yeah, way better than air. Don't use it. Air won't be very happy with that stuff. It's nice for smooth, But if you want good stuff, you want foxes or something, Bilstein, Caine, something along those lines.
Well, when you come up to Minnesota,
Normally-
I'll have you help me or bring Swede with you, then you can supervise. But we got to upgrade the Honda HRV. So we've got a 4-cylinder or 3.5 or 2 or 1 half-dead hamster. And that's not okay. We need to push a little bit more horse through. Not too much. I'm not trying to burn the motor out in half its age, but
I was talking to Swede about the port because so I was looking at basically taking that off and putting 2 turbos, putting basically a twin turbo thing, turning it into something about 600, 650 horse. So that might have to happen. Yeah, no, the Coopers, the couple of folks, Alex is like Cooper S's. I helped a good friend years and years ago buy one when they first came out. I remember, I learned how to drive in a Mini.
I've been in one. I've never drove one. How does it drive, Evan?
Cool. It's like a go-kart.
Yeah. Those things,
I drive my big truck, and you're way the hell up here, and you drive that thing, you're like, what the hell? Everybody's like above me. I'm like looking up at everybody. It's surprisingly spacious. Little car like that. I thought I'd be all munched in there. No, man, I have lots of room.
BMW did a nice job on the packaging. I mean, it's kind of weird. They kind of like tongue-in-cheek retro-ish, but they did a nice job. The other thing on that thing, what I liked about it, and I had a Fiat Abarth years ago as well, and it's the same kind of concept. You can do stupid things at legal speeds. You don't have to, like in the Porsche and some of the other ones, you've got to be going 100, 120, 130 plus mile an hour to be able to enjoy it, so we say. I mean, you can do slow stuff and everything else, but you've got to really use power. And when you get it wrong, it ain't pretty. Whereas on one of those, you can have a ton of fun at regular, normal, legal speeds. Oh, cute wolf map.
Yeah, she wants to play.
Yeah. Otis lost his balls yesterday, and he's back. He was all dopey and everything yesterday evening. But today he's kind of back in that, hey, I want to play. And you're like, little buddy, you got to wait for a week or two before we're going to let you go a little too crazy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the demeanor shifts.
It's about 90 days. Jen was saying it's about a 90-day window for that testosterone to like really clear out of the system. So it'd be interesting to see how the demeanor shifts with him, just him with the other dogs, him on his own, just him playing with us. If the dominance thing kind of ebbs off, and a few other things as well, as doesn't go out on the hunt and all that kind of shenanigans. Hopefully it should be good all around. Let's put it that way.
A lot of times when I go downtown, and I thought about it on New Year's Eve too, a lot of times I'm carrying.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking about that. I'm like, no, I'm just going to the New Year's Eve thing. I should be fine.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't, because, I would have been inclined, I think. I mean, I probably wouldn't have pulled my gun, but man, it'd be tempting.
I would have.
And that would have been a bad spot, because here that would have been an illegal. Would have been illegal. I'd probably still be in.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to
talking
use it to stop crime that is an imminent murder.
No, because the problem is it's not in defense. You're not doing it for defense of yourself. Now you, on the other hand, the problem is you would have been seen as the aggressor.
Well, in Minnesota, I can do it in defense of myself or somebody else. So if there was an imminent danger of them running somebody over, then maybe. But you run the risk of, ricochet and all kinds of other shit. It would have been.
But also, I mean, you know as well as I do. Depends what you're carrying as well. I mean, down here in the lab, I got a cannon because I needed to go through walls. Whereas up on the main levels, it's 9 mils. Because I don't want it. I carry a 40 usually. Yeah, I don't need it piercing inner walls and outer walls and pissing off the neighbors. Let's face it, worst case scenario. But you just don't need that shit.
No, you get the Hornady wax loads.
Well, they have those safety slugs too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Six
that's
slugs
true.
are pretty
the
cool.
Hornadies, they drywall,
Yep.
not going too far.
No, I got
Person.
shotguns. I got shotguns for that. I mean, that's the other thing. There's enough stuff scattered around the house that would make life interesting.
Yeah, shotguns are the best for home defense.
Oh hell yeah, because you're in
there's
such a
nothing-
heightened state.
Well, there's nothing like the sound
clack.
of you. Oh my God, right? When in the dead of night, and you hear the. You're like,
That'll tighten you up.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chances are you probably won't have to use it.
Well, that's
Who knows?
touch wood. No, it's it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's so you want to pull and take out tires or something, but you just never know what the consequences of those actions might be.
Exactly.
What's the
When I would have been
situation?
inclined. I mean, I was right in the driver. I mean, right by the driver's window.
Yeah.
I mean, why not put a slug right through it? But
Well, it's so fucking difficult at that point. But yeah, you're right. You probably would have been. They'd probably come after you as much as they would have come after somebody for vehicular theft, which is, have they recovered it, or what's the situation at the moment? Nope, still out and about or in pieces.
no, in Minnesota or in Minneapolis in 2021, there were 4,040 something stolen cars. So you're not going to find it. It's gone.
I mean, that's 10 plus a day. It's 11 a day.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
a lot of
well,
those recently have been carjackings.
That
631 is the number I saw for carjackings.
Well, and
And
the deal with the stolen cars here is the 15-minute, 3-day or never rule, right? So if they're going to find it, it's within 15 minutes because they happen to be having a squad right there as it came by.
Yeah.
Or they'll find it 3 days later used in a different crime.
Yeah.
or you never see it again.
You'll never see it again.
And actually, I was thinking about this, Evan. I don't have any stats to back it up, but I know that there is a shortage in the auto parts market right now for used auto parts. And there seems to be a trend of stealing cars that aren't worth a whole lot, as a stolen car as a whole, but as parts.
Chop shop time.
Yeah.
Well, then, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's nothing more than an inconvenience. It makes a good story. And it's cool having the video, but insurance has got it covered now, and you just go buy yourself a new vehicle.
Yeah.
It just sucks though, because I mean, it just sucks.
Yeah. It is what it is. It could have been much worse, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So both of you guys have had a little bit of a strong start to 2022, and I've talked to you both, and I've heard from you both, and neither of you have had the bestest day this week. What's going on? You guys just in a New Year funk? Is it all the change that's coming and happening?
Seriously, yesterday, day before yesterday, it was like, are we there yet? Like seriously, I'm done. 22, fuck off. It literally was just, especially when we sat down and realized what the loss was from the system standpoint. I mean, that's half a petabyte's worth of data gone.
What happened?
You haven't heard this part of it yet. So part of the shenanigans, unfortunately, with your crew, and the reasons I thought I had everything and I didn't have everything, well, partly because I was being told that, and partly somebody was shielding me from something that I finally found out. I have you guys, I mean, I've made it clear a couple of times, I've got a reasonable amount of storage. And a while ago, I moved it out of where it was, because it was running up the bill pretty significantly, and moved it out and moved it out of town, but in town area, should we say, and put it in a different location. And unfortunately, last couple of days after the fires, because obviously that was Saturday, whatever the hell day that was, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's all kind of blurred. After the fires and having to evac the horses and then also help out with a couple of people that lost houses and stuff like that, I came back and I'm trying to deal with getting all the data and a few other things. And then I realized that some of my systems that I've been using, the proxy architectures, some of the neural stuff, and a few other things weren't responding. So I started going out looking what the hell's going on with the servers. Realized didn't have back-end architecture. Started making some phone calls. Long story short, the head ends on the NAS units went. So long story short, I had a big ass motherfucking box of disks, and we're talking a lot. I lost close on about 240 disks. We're still figuring out exactly how many. And around about half a petabyte's worth of data we don't think is recoverable at this moment in time. So, and that's a lot of my neural research. That's a lot of the darknet research. A whole bunch of shit. We moved it from where it was, partly because it was here, partly because it was in a few other places as well. Consolidated it for cost because it's paying it out of pocket and nobody else is picking up the tab for the damn stuff. And moved it somewhere else. We readjusted the disks to be max speed and max capacity, some redundancy, and then the power conditioning apparently wasn't doing what it should be doing. And with all the rolling blackouts and everything else that came out of it, a whole bunch of disk crashes, a whole bunch of lost data, a whole bunch of redundancy shit that didn't happen. So yeah, it's been an interesting, I don't know, 48, 72 hours of that fucking shit. So tried playing some recovery, got some stuff back. The rest of it goes goodbye. So lessons learned, I guess, kind of. Yeah,
well, that's the thing, right? Everybody's always got that Monday morning quarterback shit, you know. Well, you should have blah blah blah, or you should have.
The problem is
it's not fucking helping me now.
Calling up Amazon and saying, "Hey, I want some cold storage for nigh on half a petabyte's worth of stuff" is not cheap. And neither is the pipe to get it there, and it really grew over time. It started out as just a couple of arrays, which I picked up and I added to it, and then added some other stuff to it, and added some solids to it, and it just grew over the years. And it outgrew here, it outgrew some of the other places. So I ended up putting it up in Longmont neck of the woods. And basically Longmont, Lafayette neck of the woods, put it out there. And yeah. So that's part of the shit show that happened. That's part of the reason. Because I run all my virtual machines from it. I mean, it was a gorgeous bunch of disks and all sorts of other crazy shit. But I ran on my virtual machine. So everything over the years that I dutifully moved from, LT4 drives to DVRs to smaller hard drives to bigger hard drives to multi-hard drives to terabyte hard drives, and then finally onto this thing, all that shit was on there. So a whole bunch of my hacking tools from fucking 15, 20 plus years ago. So yeah, it is what it is. And the movies, but if I'm like a couple of thousand movies and like 60, 70,000 songs, but a lot of data, unfortunately, a lot of data. We have some of the data. Thankfully, some of it's sitting up on like the Google Cloud and a few other places, but like some of the assessment work and some of that shit, we used, we had it all running out of the virtual machines on there. Because I mean, that was what it was for. Spin up a virtual machine, run an assessment against it. It's in a very, very safe area. Spin it back down again. So yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I mean,
some of the drives we can recover data from. We've done it a little bit, but the problem is we had extended RAID arrays and all sorts of shit. So now we the long task of just pulling disks out by the 10. Bringing them over or putting them in a secondary place, see if they spin up. If they do, where is it? What is it? Can we rebuild an array? Can we use it? Is it anything good? Is it any use? What's crashed? What's any good? And then you start looking at, well, okay, if I can't trust this stuff anymore, what the fuck do I do with it? So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tedious as fuck, man.
I mean, if nothing else, it's a good way to clear house, but I really wouldn't, really not exactly the way I wanted to do it. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that and the firestorm. You know, we had let's see, tornadoes, fire. We had tornadoes, fire, and severe weather warning of snow inside 20, maybe 36 hours.
Yeah. I keep yawning. I gotta stop.
Good. Sorry.
No, it's me, man. I haven't slept much this week.
Yeah.
We were only going to do that on Mondays.
I sleep on Mondays. No, I don't sleep on Mondays.
Stay healthy.
Okay. Isn't it
Both
still
of you.
Monday? That was just one long fucking day. It's still Monday, right?
It feels like it.
I mean-
what are we on Thursday? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I did get some sleep last night. I crashed about 4:30ish, not 4:35, I think it was. I was up again at 9, so I got some sleep, which was good.
It is good. Well, man, I don't. Yeah, I mean, fuck. That sucks.
Yeah,
It's gonna.
I'm the problem is as well. I'm still figuring it all out. I mean, I've got some more stuff here. Yeah, it's just trying to figure out what I have, what's missing. Although, again, you know, on one side, it's just stuff. I mean, Jen's family have got somebody staying with them. We've got a couple of folks at the barn whose house is raised. A number of people here know a number of people who've lost homes. So in some ways, I should quite honestly shut the fuck up because I got a roof over the head. I'm able to go upstairs and cook food. The dogs have got a home. It is what it is.
Yeah, but it's not so much that you're, complaining. You're mourning. I mean, you go
And I
through this
think that's-
period of
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's normal, man.
It sucks. I mean, it was so fucking. I mean, you know, some of that shit I probably wouldn't have looked at again in God knows how many years. But I know I can recover some of the photos I had. But like even the pictures of Mo, I mean, on my like iPhone thing, I've probably got the last maybe 7, 8, 9 years worth. But I had thousands of pictures of Mo and everything else from when she was a kid onwards. And but that's all gone. So yeah, that kind of stuff sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a mourning period where you'll come to a realization, and everybody mourns their own way. I mean, I'm not one to tell you what the right way is or the wrong way. I'm here to support you, and
And the other thing, I mean, you know as well as I
man.
do. I mean, you've seen the shit that's happened with your crew, for crying out loud. I mean, I'm sitting there, we're doing an assessment, get everything done, everything's going well. Then I got a couple of folks who disappear off. I'm like, okay, then I'll be back. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? We get 2 go down with COVID, and then I'm like, okay, I can recover from this. I can get it done. I can hunker down. I can do this. And I've got, stuff going on with somebody else as well. And then, Swede thankfully is around. But then you're like, okay, the fuck is going on? And then you're given a lot of this. We talked about this the other day. You're given a lot of, yeah, it's ready, it's ready, it's ready. Well, then where the fuck is it? I need it. And then this, and then I'm like, I'd fucking throw up my hands and go curl up in a fucking ball somewhere. That, unfortunately, does not solve things.
No, well, sometimes it does. I mean, the time thing, right? I mean, you want to put everything back together again right away, as soon as possible. But the shit's going to take time. It's going to.
Computers.
You've been through tougher. You've been through tougher. You've been through tougher situations than this before. But it just
sucks. It sucks for a whole bunch of different reasons, and I think that's it. It's. You can deal with 1 or 2 things at a time, but when you start getting a bunch of these things come after one after another, you're like, do you want me to tap out or something at this point? What are you trying to tell me? So, No.
I'm going to take a slightly more optimistic approach and believe that
I'm not. You're fucked.
Yep. Nope. I disagree. I think what's going to happen is as soon as you stop stressing, whenever that appropriate time is, but as soon as this starts to move into the background, you're going to be taking a shit and you're going to suddenly come up with a new way to recover data from this scenario. It'll take you all of 45 minutes to crack it out on the laptop and you'll get your data back and you'll have innovated a new way to do data recovery. That's what I think this is all about. I could be wrong, but I'm hopeful.
Well, you know what happened when I took a shit? My back went out.
Yeah. Only person I know throws out his back, cracking one out.
While you're
No, I was not while I was not cracking it out. I was just trying to get up.
Oh no. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, once you do it once, the first time I did it, I was all manly and shit. I was doing deadlifts with my son. He was, playing football, and man, I was showing him how it's done. Dad's big, strong, check this shit out. Well, the last rep on the last set, the bar came off my shin, because when you're doing deadlifts, right, you just rub that shit against your shin. And I was like, oh, it's the last rep. I can power it up. And then boom, like, fuck me. I just went down like a sack of potatoes.
Ow.
And then I had to and my son's freaking out. Oh my God. And I'm like, I can't move. Just chill. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to. So I crawled my way up to the leg extension machine with my arms and pulled myself up and sat there. And he's like, well, let's just go home. I'm like, no, finish your fucking workout. I'll just sit here. So it took me like an hour to get from there to the car so I could drive home. But then ever since that, so that was the first time it ever went out. And then the second time it went out, I was picking up an empty cardboard box in the garage.
Oh, no shit.
And then the third time it went out was down in Mexico. I was getting off of the toilet. So
I've only put so far, touch wood, I've only put it out once. I was training. This was years ago when I was still doing competition throwing. And I, the ball in front of you and you're moving it from all the way from side to side. And I did that. And I was doing it with those freaking lead-filled balls and doing it with pretty heavy ones. And I remember doing it and I went a little too vigorously and it tweaked. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. And I carried on doing my damn workout. Following morning, could not get out of bed. Crazy ass pain, couldn't move, the whole lot. Ended up in urgent care, lidocaine patches, and they gave me an intravenous of some good old stuff that makes you not worry about it for a while. Yeah, whoa, not pretty. I got a bunch of lidocaine patches out of it, but yeah, holy smoke, that's that and the gout. Those are really the only two things that have ever completely wiped me out from just not, you can't man your way through some of that shit. You're like, okay, this ain't pretty.
No, yeah, when your back goes out, because it's, it's so close to your central nervous system. It, for almost every pain I've encountered over the years, which has been a lot, I've been able to do the mind over matter thing. Just fuck it. You know what I mean? It's, it hurts like a son of a bitch, but it's not going to hurt forever. But when your back goes out, it doesn't matter how much you want to get up off the bed. You're not getting up off the bed. You're going to have to.
And there's nothing you can do. You can't will yourself. I mean, unlike a lot of other things. Yeah.
Slide over, kind of get your knees to flop off maybe the side. And then now I'm going to kneel on the bed, for a while. But one thing that was really cool is because my sex drive didn't go away when my back was out. So I was still able to perform, even though I couldn't move. Yeah, that was awesome. Because Marlos is like, there's no way you can, have sex now. And I'm like, I can. You just got to do the work.
Watch me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, watch me. Yeah. Want to test that theory?
Yeah, but between that, the back, and kidney stones. Yeah, fuck that. Kidney stones. If I get kidney stone again and there's a gun around, you'll just read about it.
I touch wood. I've yet to. I've been fortunate enough to not go through that, and I look forward to not actually having to experience that this time around.
Yeah. Well, the first time I had it, because I don't go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor for unless I really, really have to. So the 3 times the back went out, I'm not going to the doctor. I'll just whatever, you'll get through it. And the first time I was like at work at like 3 a.m. because I was, started my day early and I was getting some shit done. And I felt like I had to take a shit, but I couldn't shit. It was so weird. And I was like, that's really weird. Okay. But it wouldn't go away. And then it just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then I got to the point by like 8 a.m. when people are starting to show up at the office, I'm laying on the bathroom floor.
I'm
like, what the fuck is going on? And so my wife, who, was my admin, she shows up for work and I, okay, toughen it out. I'm going to walk, to her office. And so I walk and she's like, what the fuck's wrong? And I'm like, we got to go to the doctor. So then we went to the urgent care and that fucking drive there was hell. So you get to urgent care and then we get in there and they keep asking you all these fucking questions. I don't want to talk to you. If you ask me another fucking question, I'm going to beat you. Just fix me. And so they said, oh, we can't do that here. You have to go to the hospital. I'm like, what? You don't have like drugs or something you can give me? Nope, you got to go to the hospital. So then we had to take another 30-minute drive out to Waconia to go to the hospital. And so much fucking pain. I'm pacing. And Marlis is like, oh my God, because she knows that, I've got a really high pain tolerance. So if I'm doing this, it's like, it's bad. Mm-hmm. And they keep asking you all these questions. And then they put you in this fucking emergency room and they have one of those sliding, curtain door things. And the nurses are standing in the nursing station talking about casserole recipes. I'm like, so I slammed the door. I didn't even have any clothes on. I don't remember. But I'm like, I don't give a shit about your fucking casserole recipe. Are you going to give me something for this? Oh yeah. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. What the fuck do you think I'm here for?
Yeah.
I'm not here to hear you exchange casserole recipes. Give me some shit. Anyway, long story short, you know what it was that they finally gave me that finally made it feel better? It was intravenous naproxen? No, Tylenol.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they gave it to me after a long time. I was there for like 40 minutes and they give me this stuff. And I'm like, the pain is gone. I love this. What did you just give me? And she's like, well, you're not going to believe me if I told you. I'm like, whatever it is. She's like, Tylenol. What the fuck? I've been here for 40 minutes dying and you're not going to, you waited to give me Tylenol? That was so weird. The last time I gutted it out at home and I hated everything.
Yeah, it's I've had the one. I've tried to be careful since then, but at least the backside of it. But the stones, such word, managed to avoid those things so far.
You guys realize that I listened to this, and you're scaring me. I don't like any of this. You keep saying these things. I'm like, wait a second.
Gout, back pain, kidney stones. Welcome to old age, little buddy.
I feel you. I've had the grays for a long time. The rest of it's catching up.
No, it's I mean, I've had family that have never had a damn thing. So, I think it's pays you money, takes your choice kind of thing on some ways. Yeah.
Well, I think this is the part, if we're looking at the script, that we should probably.
Oh yeah, we talked too long, didn't we?
We're like got me going. This week has been one of those weeks where I think we needed to freaking unload. Let's put it that way. This has not been a 10-minute catch-up week. This has been, I would rather avoid repeating this week again if at all possible. Love, hugs, and kisses, whoever might be listening.
Yeah.
Or at
you
least
don't
if
need another
you
week
are
like
going to
this.
make me repeat this week, at least let me have access to a bit more alcohol.
There's always a positive that comes out of this. I promise. I've never lived through something bad that didn't ultimately end up being something good. But you got to look for it. And a lot of times it takes time, right? It's not going to happen right away, but I promise. And I was only partially kidding. I can totally see you sitting there racking your brain on this and going, wait a second.
We'll figure it out. We'll
Never
see.
know. But if you
No.
do, dibs on being co-patent.
Gotcha.
Okay? Cool.
Let's face it, we'll take care of each other. It's the easiest way of dealing with it sometimes.
Well, if Kroll can get data off of the black box from the shuttle,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's hope that the data's still there, whether, how fucking corrupt it is. I don't know.
The challenge is, it's like anything. I mean, we got data when I was working inside the agency. We pulled data off of like hard drives that have been shotgunned, hard drives that have been blasted, drilled, the whole lot. It's time and it's cost.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You got to have the equipment.
Big time for some of that stuff. And the challenge we're running into, I mean, you know as well as I do, it's an array. So how much of the array do I need? How much do I need to rebuild it? And some of the stuff has been running for a long freaking time. We're like, hey, what's the configuration? If I know.
Right.
So we'll see. We won't see because I know most of the prognosis. Anyway, that aside.
So what the hell were they thinking?
I don't know. Who is this your show, Evan? This one yours?
Nope, that's mine.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So this is actually this is one of those struggles I have. And I have this struggle because not everybody, a number of people, Ryan, you've told me a number of times, Jen and other people have told me a number of times that the inner voice is not something everybody has. And the open mouth, put foot in it syndrome isn't just a reality, isn't just a spur of the moment. It is because some people don't have that safeguard. And I kind of want to explore it a little bit because even in our industry, I mean, we have had some classic examples in this last 12 months where interns have been blamed, other companies have been blamed, where certain politicians are saying things, all sorts of stuff. And you take a step back and you go, really? And to me, it isn't just that. I mean, it comes from that, but there's so much stuff you read about, you see, you hear about, you see on stage, all sorts of other things. You see people, we know that there are tolerances. We know that there are more thoughts that need to be put into something before we say something. Swede and I were sitting here the other day, and this is actually part of it. It's not really a sidetrack. It is and it isn't. Swede and I were sitting here talking the other day, and we talked about racism. We had a really good conversation. We had a fantastic conversation about racism. And I'm like, look, when I grew up, there was a jam that was called, it was Robinson's Jam. And the actual character that came out of a TV program is a TV program called Noddy and Big Ears. Well, that probably gives you a bit of an indication. But the character in the TV program was called Gollywog. Not the most correct name known to mankind in today's society by far and away. Back then, you've got a blasted character all over the TV, all over comic strips, the whole lot. And you go back to look at some of the early stuff from Disney, some of the cartoons, some of the characters. And now you fast forward and you're like, okay, 90% of society has figured out what to say, what not to say. And I'm also thinking about it from like sexism commentary and stuff like that. It's like, really? Did you actually really just say that? Or did you really just mean that? And it all comes down to why I still have a hard time believing that people don't have some kind of inner thought, inner control, inner voice, inner something, or they've been walking through life for how many lives, how many years they've been creeping on this planet, and are fucking oblivious to the fact that they need to actually think a little bit more these days. So that's really it.
Well, so yes, I love this. Two things immediately come to mind. The first is this. 50 years ago, the car manual told you how to adjust the valves. Today, it tells you not to drink the contents of the battery. One.
Yeah.
The second is I have met enough people in my life to realize that inner voice doesn't exist. That they don't. Why else? So the only other explanation is self-destructive behavior.
And that's, yeah.
Well, there's a difference though. Some of the things that Chris is talking about is the inner voice, and some of the things that Chris is talking about are just plain old logic, right? Just
right. And that's, yeah,
cause and effect, right? If I do this, then the outcome is likely to be this. People seem to have lost that too. I mean, I think
because we got taught that.
Well, here's the, and you just touched a fucking nerve. So damn it. Accountability. We don't hold anybody accountable for shit.
Right.
So you make a shitty choice and somehow I've got to pay the price for that. I don't understand that. And make whatever excuse you want to make. For some things, there are no excuses. You made a shitty choice. We see that play out in our industry fucking everywhere. Right. And so you blame the intern, you blame the CISO, you blame the CIO, you blame somebody, anybody but me.
Right.
Fuck, that pisses me off. And I think enough of that shit happens. And then people are like, well, that cause and effect, those things that happen from experience, they didn't happen the same way for you as they did for me because I had consequences. You didn't. I mean, that pisses me off.
Yeah. The cause and effect is an interesting one. I mean, I still have, because here's the thing. We're not talking about, when in a lot of cases in the media, especially, and even in our industry, we are not talking about people who, I wouldn't say aren't educated, wrong way of putting it, who we're not talking, okay, half the population has crazy intelligence, the other half of the population has a problem putting their underpants on. Arguably, half the population of the intelligent people still have problem putting in their underpants on, because intelligence doesn't necessarily mean that they've got just now Istanbul smarts. If you take that chunk of the education, I would at least expect most of them to have some inner monologue, to have some kind of, I don't get it.
A lot of times that doesn't that inner monologue also get reinforced by consequences, so I didn't put underwear on. Well, and I shit my pants or whatever, and so you're like, why did I shit my pants? Or why did I get arrested? Or why did that happen? Well, because you did that. Oh,
right.
So I shouldn't do that then.
Yeah. So 54% of adults in this country can't read at a 6th grade level.
How many?
54% of adults in the United States, 54% of the adults in the US read below a 6th grade level. Okay. Then I've got another study here that shows that there's internal dialogue in the way that I think we have it, where we hear that inner voice. There's an actual dialogue and conversation. And in some other people, it is more of a nonverbal, right? It's very abstract and nonverbal thought.
Yeah.
We have some good comments going on in that.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of the stuff from.
And then a lot of the people, and then a large percentage of the population has neither. So the kind of the common stat is that 26% or 4 out of every 10 Americans has the ability for internal voice. So 75% has none at all out of this particular study. So if you have no inner voice, your reading comp is below a 6th grade level, do you possess the necessary faculties to rationally make decisions? Like a lot of the logic I learned because of experience in teaching. A lot, and obviously I'm a logical thinker. Computers are attractive to me because of that.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a huge number.
Well, I'm married to somebody that doesn't have an imagination. I didn't even know that was possible. But it is. So I wonder how much of this is, we've got people doing jobs that if we, really understood the level of their ability to rationally think, we would not let them do those jobs. I wonder if we're measuring the wrong thing.
Right.
But we've always had that, you know what I mean? Society continued in civilization. I mean, call it progress or whatever. We continue to progress with those people, right? Because
in other words, that statistic is held true. Potentially that percentage is held true, and yet we've managed to make it this far.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the difference now is, I don't know, man. It's like, because you see so much of the shit that goes on, in Twitter or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck are you? And then people are like, yeah, and it's like, no.
Well, okay, you know what kicked this off? There were two things that kicked this off. One of them was, for whatever reason, towards the end, because this was a fairly new one, towards the end of last year, I took a mental break a couple of evenings on YouTube, which is a good and a very bad place to be. The mental break, I ended up watching the highlights from, I want to say it was like A&E. It's the police. They got the body cam ones, and where they go, they have like a camera unit that follows along. I've never seen them before. Absolutely,
I love that show, actually.
Absolute fascination and scary, because I'm sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, what the actual fuck do you think? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not. It's not even you're not thinking. You are thinking because you're doing something, but there's no voice in the back which is going, what the fuck are you doing? There's none of that. And I don't get it. And then I flip it around to our industry. I look at our industry and I go, 25, 30, 40 years, whatever we've been standing up on our pulpits going, change your passwords, stop clicking shit, or at least think before you click. We've been saying this. I mean, Win has basically said, don't click shit. Kind of want to agree with him, but the problem is we send out surveys you got to click. So how about click responsibly? And again, fucking scams. Come on, read the motherfucker. Know the director of the FBI. I had a Warren Buffett one today. Hi, I'm Warren Buffett. And basically it's, hey, I've randomly selected you for 250 million. Fuck off.
Awesome.
Warren. Yeah, well, exactly. But
I go back to it.
No,
the digital.
Somebody's clicked that.
Digital analog. I read the email out loud, and all of a sudden the email reads different.
But
so one of the things that I think is such a false fucking thing in our society is the fact that life is fair for everybody. Like, everybody's got the same fucking gifts. I've got different gifts. I'm good at some things. I suck at a whole bunch of things. So I use my gifts for the things that I'm good at, right? And so you can look at somebody else and go, gosh, I really wish I had those gifts. You don't. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do to get you those gifts. You just don't have them. What we need to do, and I think our leaders have done a shitty job. And I'm not just talking political leaders. I'm talking about business leaders. I'm talking about leaders everywhere,
right?
Of really caring. Good leaders care for their flock, right? There are people who follow me. There are people who, expect me to make good decisions that are going to, that aren't doing that. Because because you see people in our industry who, I want to be a CISO. And it's like, well, why do you want to be a CISO? Well, because of whatever. Okay. But that, you can give it a shot, man, but I don't think you got it.
Right.
He goes, well, why don't you think I got it? I said, because you're too technical and can't talk to people. You don't like talking to people. You just sit in your fucking corner all the time. Well, I can learn that. All right, give it a shot, man.
And to a certain degree, I think some of that can be learned, but yeah, you either, there are quite a few things that have got it or not, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I was born with inherent skepticism. And then that was reinforced throughout my upbringing. Like, you don't trust, you don't take things at face value. You do your homework. You read the damn thing before you sign it. I'm that guy that reads the ULIS, by the way.
Yeah.
That's why I knew what they updated and what they slipped in, is because I actually read the damn thing.
Don't do that. You hire somebody to read that shit for you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
No, because now I have to trust that person knows how to read the damn thing the way that I'm going to read it, right? Because my risk.
Send me an email. Send me an email, and I'll give you some names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Don't read that shit. Twist your damn mind, and you won't be able to do anything else. Nothing useful. Fucking lawyers can't do anything useful. You don't want to be like them.
They do. They're good. They make good fertilizer.
I accept.
No,
what's that one website where didn't read it, or shit? There's a website where they actually read them for you and tell you what they say.
Oh wow!
Didn't have time to read it or something like that.
I'm gonna find it. I can't. I've meant to save it so many times.
So,
okay, do you guys remember in the old time when?
Oh, here you go. tosdr.org. That's where you got to go. tosdr.org. That's where I go when I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this, and then, oh yeah, okay. Huh? Did I just blow your fucking mind? You're like, wow.
yeah.
I'm not blown by the grades I see, though.
No. Yeah, right.
None of that surprises me.
Mm-mm. Well, and I think how often do we're so transactional in like day-to-day life. We're so transactional in business. We're so transactional in security, right? You click the link. That's a transaction. That's a thing that happened. If you really want to understand why it happened, you have to be relational, not transactional. So you're going to have to take some time to get to know that person. Maybe that person doesn't have that inner voice like you're talking about. Maybe that person, no matter what, can't not click the fucking link. So why do I keep banging my head against the wall, telling them to stop clicking the fucking link,
right,
when they're not capable of it?
All right. So now
instead, I should just take the fucking computer away. You should be doing something else around here.
Or you leave them with the computer, but you put enough fail safes in place that they can't do harm to themselves or others. And I think that's where in security, we haven't taken that thread. We haven't pulled that thread far enough. You just said it. And if we take what Ryan said, so let's take 60, 70%?
75-ish.
I can't deal with
study. 70, 75.
Let's just say 70. I at least want a few people that are actually wandering around with fucking voices in their head in my life. So we spend how much time, money, effort, resources, gnashing of teeth, wailing of hands, all this shit, trying to educate a population of which potentially 70% we're never going to get through. Never. Like, never.
Well, and that's the shitty thing, right? Because when we do this stuff, everybody suffers. The entire population, the entire civilization suffers because of one or two, three, small group of people can't do the thing that they've been tasked with doing.
This is 70% of people. So I've got a company of 100 people and I've got intellectual property. I've got data. I, for once, might actually know where my fucking assets are. By the way, thank you very much for 100 Days, 100 Thoughts, number one. Perfect.
No.
I know where all my stuff is. So now I've got my 100 people. I've got my 100 people, of which I have to understand, no matter how much training I put in for, no matter how much compliance or regulatory or whatever else, 70% just aren't going to get it. And that's
Well,
an acceptable.
This is 70% that don't have that inner voice. I don't think it means 70% of people that will
Correct. So
not
I
know
just
the
dawned
difference
on
between
me
right and
as we're
wrong.
talking.
Yeah.
So, you know, I advocate for one of the problems that we have is our language. We don't speak to them because we don't think like them, because we don't organize our thoughts like them.
Right.
And then we come and say, we know best about blah, blah, blah. And all the many shows previous to this where we do the bitching and griping part. But it dawned on me, what if we started telling them clicking the link is you extending trust? Instead of it gives you malware, instead of the server gets stolen, instead of the 150 other why do I give a fuck reasons that we've used to try to explain what happens, what if we simply said, when you click that link, you're giving that person your trust? And watch how guarded people might get.
I still think you're in
That's going to pick up at least 3%. That technique can pick up at least 3%.
Well, we talked about, here's the thing. Everybody likes to do things that are enjoyable. Everybody, right? We all enjoy things, right? I mean, there are probably some people with mental disorders who don't enjoy enjoyment, but we talked about this in the Security Simplified podcast, you know, in this governance series, that if you create a game that people want to play, they will play the game with you. If you create a game that they don't want to play, it doesn't matter how much coercion, they're not going to want to play. And I do the same thing with my family, you know, and I use the analogy of, I think, cribbage, right? I love playing cribbage. You know, I'm good at it. I enjoy it. I have one child in particular who hates cribbage. Now, imagine me forcing him to play cribbage with me. You must play cribbage with me. Well, how do you think that's going to go? Right? It's not going to go well. But we do that same thing with security all the time. I create a game. I'm the CISO or whoever, because I suck at communication, because I suck at consulting or whatever. I'm the guy who created the damn program when it should be the CEO. If you know, we've talked about that before too. But I need to create a game that fits with the culture. I need to create a game that fits with the organization, a game that fits with the mission. If I can create a game that we all agree on, and you're going to have some bad apples. Well, bad apples shouldn't fucking be here anyway.
Right.
If we have a game that we all agree and we want to play, let's play. Because then you'll think, because now I'll think, well, if I do this thing, I get a reward, or I lose the game, or whatever. Some people are more competitive, so they hate losing. Great.
Yeah.
There are people who want things, they want enjoyment, they want recognition, they want some kind of reward. But I think our whole security paradigm, the way we've always done security, the negative shit, nobody's listening anymore. Nobody wants to fucking hear it anymore. Oh, you're going to lose your identity. Like, I don't give two shits about my fucking identity.
It's already been fucking lost anyway. Let's face it, good grief alive, between healthcare, OPM, the financial institutions, and everybody else, every single last one of us is out on the fucking internet somewhere.
Well, and let's not forget all the last 8 years of our text messages. Because that one seemingly doesn't want to make the headlines. I don't know why that particular catastrophic, all your private text messages, no matter your phone provider or carrier.
Shh, don't tell them.
Oh, sorry. Shh.
This is going to be fun because next week the topic is shit or get off the pot, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of this stuff is going to be, don't tell me you take security seriously. Don't tell me that you.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
I want to get back to this. But on
the same thing on that front, though, is if there's no consequences for my behaviors, if we're like, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. But if you don't, I'll help you out. I'll save you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not saving you.
Bailed out enough, let's face it. It would be, again, okay, maybe people are going to die, let's face it. But it might be nice for the occasional company to crawl over and, I don't know.
That's what the Greeks used to do with the undesirables. They would kill them.
Yep, it's easier.
They just wouldn't wait for all of society to suffer from it. They'd just drop you off a cliff.
I
We get yelled
mean,
at. We get yelled at for doing that these days, unfortunately. Although in the Midwest, I learned a new phrase in the Midwest, which is shoot, shovel, and silence. And I love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. That's going on the back of a coin at some point in time.
Yeah, welcome to Minnesota. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
I mean, this part of Minnesota, don't go east. Stay here and go west. And that's how we do things.
I was who was I talking to? Oh, a very good friend. I think she might still be up there. I was actually going to reach out to you too if she needed anything. I think she's got herself sorted out, but an extremely, extremely good friend, probably pretty much her family, I would call her, from Kuwait, is actually up in your neck of the woods with her mother at one of the healthcare facilities doing some stuff or having some stuff done. So I think everything's okay. Otherwise, I might ping you too. Speaking of that kind of stuff.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Always, man.
You know us.
No, and that was the thing. Yeah, no, it's hugely appreciated. But it was very much it was a two-pronged thing. It was just looking at society, and Evan, I think you're right. The consequences just really aren't there, or if they are, they're short-term consequences. It feels like there isn't. I don't know if I'm advocating for somebody to be taken out and shoved off the edge of a cliff, although I wouldn't mind seeing a few people have that happen too. But even in our own industry, it's definitely one of those where we should recognize somehow or other, even if it's not 70%, we should recognize somehow or other that no matter the message we say, no matter the message we try to tell people, there are a percentage, and it's a decent percentage apparently, who just it isn't going to click. It's not going to click. Yeah, I mean, they'll click. It isn't going to settle in. And we don't do that. Dirty little secret is in our industry is we don't spend enough on remediation on like in detection because we believe we can, stop it at the perimeter. And secondly, we apparently consider just lecturing you every 6 months or 3 months or 12 months to be sufficient to actually do something for everybody.
Well,
I think there are actually fewer. No, I'm sorry, man. I think there are actually few because then I got to go pee. I think there are actually fewer people in this industry who actually want to fix things than people know. I think there are a lot of people who like it broken. I think there are a lot of people who like spinning their wheels because they're making a shitload of money and they're taking advantage of everyday people. They don't give two fucks as long as I get my check. And I think and the same thing happens in all,
No, I know.
Not just in our industry.
Yeah.
It also happens in politics, right? Take the southern border, right, of Mexico, right? It's a fucking easy problem to solve. It's super fucking easy, right? I mean, I can think of 5 different ways that would be viable ways to solve that solution, to solve that problem, where you could still allow people into the country. They would still be able to do things as long as you're behaving yourself. You can stay, and we'll send you back up a certain period of time. And we'll maybe even help you get settled here, right? We'll help you find a community that you can live in, find a job, you know what I mean? Make you a productive member of society. But instead, what we're doing is just spinning the fucking wheels because nobody actually wants to solve the fucking problem.
They're making too much money from it. Those private jail cells that are being leased to Homeland Security at $800,000 a square foot.
Or another thing, that it's sad because people are being used is if I can convince you that I'm on your side, that I am for you, you will vote for me.
Oh,
or if I can convince if I can convince you that I can actually help you, with ransomware, or I can help you with this, or I can help you with that, you will pay me.
Yeah.
Whether I actually can or not, fuck, whatever. You're not going to hold me accountable anyway.
That's been the last night I was on with the folks over at Six Gill and spent 2.5 hours last night / this morning, because they're over in Israel, working through a revised version of their website. And we've only got maybe a quarter of the way through it, if that. I love it because they're asking, they're listening. We don't have absolutes in there. There's no overpromise, underdeliver. That I'm like, they're giving stuff. And you guys, I'm preaching to the choir. This is something that you see every day, but out of a major organization that's taken money from various other ones, I'm like, holy shit. It's such a fucking breath of fresh air to actually be part of that. So
that's cool, man. Well, and the one thing that, ever since I started, FR Secure in 2008, I always knew that there's only one way to do security.
right.
And it's always sounded so cliche. The only way to do security is the right way, which means you don't take shortcuts, which means that I do an asset inventory. Yes, if I can create tools or have tools that can consolidate that asset inventory and do those things and manage it for me, great. It's not a shortcut. I automated something that needed to be done the right way. There are so few tools that can do that shit. Now, the good news in all of this is there is a critical mass. There is a time when you're going to get forced to do it. You can either choose it or get forced to do it. It's up to you. It's a lot less painful when you choose it.
Well, the problem is well, you get forced to do it. People are going to find loopholes. No different than in the moment. You put a law in place. Shit, we just saw it in Australia. Australian Open's about to happen. What does Australia say? If you are a normal human being, you come into the country under these conditions. End of conversation, motherfucker. What happened is the state tried basically wheedling their way around it to get a bunch of tennis people in. What happened? They got nailed at the border. Don't follow the fucking rules.
We talk about risk, right? We know that information security is risk management. You can dissect this thing 10 ways from Sunday. It's still going to be risk management. That's what it is. And you play this to like normal society, a broader group. Take Omicron, for instance, right? Now, risk is always likelihood of something bad happening and the impact if it did. It has to be likelihood and impact. It can't be one or the other.
Or the others both.
You can have all the likelihood in the world, no impact. Who gives a shit? And so you look at Omicron, and it's a lot more prevalent. The likelihood is much, much higher, but the impact is much less significant. So it's like, why are we freaking out about this thing the way we are? It's less. I mean, at the end of the day, it's less risk than Delta was.
So here's where it gets interesting, depending upon the freaking study. It's less impactful if you, according to some studies, it's less impactful if you have been vaccinated and have got the booster. It should just be.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which is like freaking awesome, because the people that didn't make the good decision to get vaccinated, who accepted that risk, they will suffer the consequences of that risk. I will not, because I did not accept that risk. And I took that's the way this whole thing is supposed to work. But the thing back into security is, if that's the way the world is doing this, we're fucked. We're fucked from a security perspective, because you can't figure this shit out.
Yeah. I mean, we can't take care of humans. Well, I mean, when we look at computing and stuff on that, and we need to make critical decisions, it ain't pretty at all. Which to me comes back to that whole, why were they thinking?
Yeah. Well, I wonder, why am I beating my head against the wall? This seems so logical. It seems so logical. And then you see this, you're like, oh, fuck. All right. I get it.
Well, then Ryan pulls up the statistics. I'm like, oh. And I want to argue. I find it, and maybe this is just my position because of where I'm standing. I find it nigh on impossible to believe that there isn't an inner voice somewhere for everybody that says, and here's why. How many times have we all stood at the top of a building? I've had it. I listen to it and it scares the crap out of me. And that voice is like, oh, what would happen if you would jump? Hey, think about jumping. Hey, it'd be totally cool. Hey, jump. And there's the fucking one of the voices like, jump, go on, do it. And the rational part of me is going, motherfucker, don't do it.
I said, that's a demon. That's not an inner voice.
It's
to jump off a bridge.
No, it's that inner voice, because there's a part of me that wants to, all sorts of stuff runs through their head when I'm doing that. I don't do heights very well. I trust my gear, which is why I climb. But yeah, I have had numerous conversations with myself on that stuff before.
Well, I've done the thought exercises, right? Like I've pondered, like done that.
No, I'm more than pondering. This is almost flat out arguments with myself on this shit.
Yeah, you
And
should
so
I
carry
argue-
a parachute with you now from this moment forward. Just if you could have a parachute on your back, that'd be great.
Dude, I argue with myself every day.
right.
That's why they put me in a room and they don't allow me to go talk to other people because they're afraid of what I'm going to argue with with them. They're like, just leave him in his room. He'll hash it out. One of the two Evans will win. That's like so normal. Yeah, fuck that. But you know what? One of the things I'd like to do, and then I'm going to go pee and then you guys can talk more because I'm taking up too much damn time. I want to define what this inner voice actually is. Like what actually is the inner voice? Is it are you talking about conscience? Are you talking about the ability to empathize with somebody else, see something from somebody else's point of view? Or, what is this inner voice we're actually talking about? Because
I'm going both on both of those examples. I would go with both, because especially when you're having a conversation with somebody and there is a level for me. I mean, I'm not a small person. So a lot of times when I'm walking up to somebody, I'm in their shoes going, there's a 6'3" hairy thing coming towards me, fight or flight, fight, flight or freeze. And so it's like, what do I need to do? Do I need to make myself smaller? Do I need to relax? And so there's always that inner monologue is going on. Plus I also know I can be a little abrasive and blunt at times. So I'm always trying to be very, very careful about that. That's partly that's self-aware, but partly that's also empathizing. And it's, we've all got friends from different regions, realms, race, creed, color, orientation, the whole lot. There's a level of putting yourself in their shoes when it comes to having conversations, when it comes to doing situation. I was on a call today, Uma. I was on a call today.
Yeah.
And my first words, because he and I've met him in like LinkedIn, but I've never actually talked with him. First words out of my mouth were like, look, I'm going to apologize, but I'm not apologizing. Could you please tell me how to say your name properly? I said, I ask because I've seen too many people butcher too many other people's names from that region, and I want to be respectful because if I'm going to use your name rather than the shortened version of Uma, I just want to know how to say it. And he laughed. He's like, no problem at all, and thank you. But it was one of those. I didn't want to come on and go, hey, blah, 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 blah. And he go, what the flipping heck?
When I first met him, it was, I was introduced to him as Uma.
Yeah.
And knowing that is not enough letters for a proper birth name.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, and so I did something similar with him. He's a good dude, man. He's very mission driven himself.
Yeah. I got a really good vibe.
Things.
There's a good lawyer that I know and worked with out of Chicago for a number of years on various projects. And I got dragged into this rat's nest of a project is probably the nicest way I can put it.
One thing before I pee, if you see in the
pee.
chat, Brendan McEachran. That's my
Oh,
son.
yeah.
Oh, hey, Brendan.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So give him plenty of shit. He
Oh, hang on.
this
I see
industry.
his picture's got he's got his good greens on, not his cabbage gear.
Yep. So feel free to give him as much shit as you'd like.
Well, he's shrubbery. I mean, he's shrubbery. We've got to be at least somewhat civilized to shrubbery these days.
Well, you want to try to be, right?
So, well, I mean, either you be nice to them or you feed them crayons. It's kind of like it's a one or the other. Let's face it.
So I ponder this.
Okay.
Knowing that we have not effectively leveraged the egress settings on the firewall in, I don't know, ever. and knowing that they're going to click the damn link anyhow.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there are some simple fixes to choke off a lot of the risk that are around those fundamentals. Like
no, isn't going to work because as a business, I need the flexibility and ability to navigate.
Cool.
No.
Absolutely. We're going to make that happen for you. And in order to successfully do this in a way that's comfortable with the risk decisions you told me you want to make, for about 2 days. We need to run that app. Use it the way you want to. We're going to trap and trace everything.
Yeah, but I've got apps coming in and out all the time. Plus, not only do I have apps, I've got vendors and suppliers who need me to open up this and after this, and that's on a random ad hoc basis. And I don't want to go through change control because you know what? This vendor came in and told me I can use DNS filtering, which will solve it all for me. And this other vendor is going to put some software on my desktop, which is going to solve it for me. So you don't have to worry about it. I got it covered.
Uh-huh.
That's
cool. That's cool.
Know.
I need you to sign here. Oh no, I'm perfectly fine. You want a wide open RDP for your vendor? I will gladly make that happen for you. I'm going to advise you that's a bad idea.
I know.
I'm going to help you figure out how you can have remote access securely. But if you choose to go that route, sign here.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, why should I?
Don't like to sign stuff, Chris. They're very adverse.
They don't. And you know as well as I do, unfortunately, when those early battles were happening, we didn't have a voice at the table. Yeah. We sat inside IT, or we sat under IT, or we sat under somebody else, and we didn't have a voice at the table. So, and then unfortunately, I'd argue at this point, it's a really good point you said. I'd argue that by the time we got that voice, that battle had been forgotten. We were already building WAFs and this and that, and we were already building more and more and more shit. That baseline, fuck it, that's compost at this point.
So to that end, here's the latest tagline: whether you're just getting started or starting over, Security Studios got you covered. There will come a time, and we're very close, where they're going to run some cost benefit analysis on fixing versus burning down and starting over. And the answer is, so I got all this legacy shit, I got whatever. I can migrate the data out. I can stand it up in the new stuff. Now,
no. I put it in the cloud. I'll put it in the cloud. It becomes somebody else's problem.
And I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but they are moving towards, so the FTC, my favorite quote from their press release, if y'all didn't catch it because they put it out at 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, it said, and I quote, "patch up or lawyer up."
Ooh, I like that.
Now, Evan and I have debated is this an empty threat, and fuck them if it is, but if it's not, and they actually follow through on that, and they start going after people with consumer safety standards, like we've begged and pleaded for on the show before, that's going to shift a lot of stuff pretty quick, because it's going to move the dialogue away from data and security into consumer protection, consumer safety.
I thought, was this the one? Was this one that came out the other day when they were talking about if you don't patch the latest Log4j stuff and you've got public site or critical controls or something like that? Yep. Yeah, I saw it, and I'm like, I was happy, but unfortunately, in my head is GDPR, which is pretty much the same thing. Fix your shit or lawyer up, and then there's not enough people to actually enforce the rules that they've just told you they're going to have.
That is correct, and we talked about that, and we talked about the OCR and their multi-year backlog, and
oh my gosh, it's a crazy. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to put an IOU out for the next 10 years?
Well, so, to your point, while I don't want it to happen, somebody dies, and it's going to happen. They just, what was it? They hacked a chemo clinic.
Yeah.
So those people had to try to reroute and all that, and there was no immediate, but the more that shit happens.
The problem is until somebody dies as a direct.
No, I know.
Not a chemo. Oh, you had to redirect patients. Oh, well, that's because you didn't have an actionable transportation plan in place, and they didn't have space anywhere else. And then it nothing to do with cyber issue.
Why are the rods moving? We don't know.
It has to. Seriously, it's got to be like somebody somewhere.
Or could they just fucking disclose things that have already happened? That'd be kind of neat. That'd change the public dialogue about the importance of this topic.
Ooh, no, it wouldn't, because they'll disclose it. Okay, you want to talk about?
I know they're gonna do the town and country Monday edition back page 3 paragraphs. Oops, yes, the Nuclear Regulatory Agency was
No.
compromised.
Okay, middle of the pandemic. Where do we go? Hey, we found shit flying around our planet. We don't know what the fuck it is.
Did you see that the CIA is quietly letting its people leak that Google Earth was a project that they gifted to Google as part of a larger initiative?
No, I didn't see that one. I haven't had a chance. Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, but I mean, they're mapping. Actually, we think we've got good stuff. China just came out their new mapping satellite. So our mapping satellites, let me rephrase this, our publicly known mapping.
I was about to say, where do you think they stole the tech from?
Yeah, I was just
they can't invent shit.
No, they steal very well.
Our publicly disclosed mapping sites, satellite systems that we use on both sides of the fence are fixed camera angles, whereas our friends from across the seas have got some really nice ones that can they've got certain levels of angles on, really, really nice stuff, like seriously nice stuff. Ooh, speaking of cameras, have you been following, I want to call it Hubble for a second. Have you been following NASA?
Lightly on the sidelines. I know that they deployed the sun shoot and
the sail's out, it's tension, the secondary mirror's out. I'm kind of geeking out on this.
Are they actually getting images yet?
No, but you know what I have got? I could share my screen. Hang on. So I'll share my screen for a second. And
Are we going to have to redact this?
Oh, yeah. 110%. Like, not even redact. This is boys coming up from the hood. All right, here. I'm going to
visited.
Because it's fun. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I'm not going to share it for too long. And
whoops-a-daisy. Oh, there it goes. Don't pause on that. To be honest, I thought you were going to pull up the fucking administration console. So
I'm actually working on it. I'm actually working on it. Let's just say I'm working on it. Well, so the thing is, they've got a live feed into the content. I'm shoulder surfing everybody. I got some stuff on high def, and this has been with all the shit going on. This has actually been my distraction, which is good and bad. I mean, it's bad because I've used it as the pacifier to try to avoid dealing with some of this shit. But it's been good because I needed to do something other than focus on all this stuff 24/7. So yeah, I've been shoulder surfing some of the folks that are in there, and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to redirect it because that would actually piss me off, because I'm actually looking forward to seeing things. I do care about the 7.6 billion people, but I don't want to fuck it up because I want to see what's going on. But it would be so fun to have Freddie Mercury plays God Save the Queen on that one too, just to tie it back to a few years ago, just for shits and giggles.
And here Evan's the lucky one. When he gets all stressed out, work is his escape. This guy cranks out so much stuff, like insane. I'm like, oh my God, like constant.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what are you doing? He's like, it's my happy place.
The
rest of us are burdened with hobbies and things and stuff.
Work has been, but just because of some of this shit, I needed to go back to honestly kind of research hacking roots stuff, not in a negative way. I'm not looking to do too much damage. I'm not looking to do any damage. I just kind of want to be in the thick of it. So I figured if I can get, admin console onto it and I can get her on it and look around, and when they're seeing all the messages from all the routines, I get a copy of them. That's really all I want. So if NASA's listening in, or anybody from the agency's listening in, I don't want to do anything. Just do me a favor. Just give me console access. I don't actually need to have admin privileges yet.
Share your login via LastPass with me. It'll be fine.
I'm sorry. I can't. Something's wrong with my headphones. I didn't pick up anything you just said.
Oh.
Not it.
No, I didn't hear any of that.
I wasn't allowed. I'm not allowed to mess with Voyager. This isn't Voyager. There's some cool. There's some.
I read
really
the terms of
cool stuff
service.
on-
It clearly called out Voyager and did not specify this thing not yet created.
Exactly.
Oh, too
Yeah.
good.
So that's been a fun beastie. It's been amazing to see. It's been amazing to see it come together. I mean, I've been watching this for years on just how they built it and just the amazing tech from being able to take something from near Kelvin to, hundreds of degrees just with, 5 layers of ridiculously micro thin materials and all sorts of other crazy stuff. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, yeah, squirrel moment. Sorry.
I like squirrels.
Squirrel.
Yep.
Hey, what have you guys heard from Rachel lately?
Yes, she is in the thick of her new role and is making that happen. So I've exchanged a few messages with her in the last few days. So she's alive and well in that regard.
Her and Josh, I'm going to, so with the Six Skill folks, we're doing these, potentially doing these weekly webinar-y things. I'm actually going to have fun. And 1 week out of every 4, 1 week a month is going to be Dungeons and Dragons. And so I poked Rachel and said, hey, would you be up for potentially? So I've got her and Danny over in Israel talking. What I'm hoping for is to do like a D&D with her, and her man thing is Dungeon Master as well. And they're both heavy gaming folks. So it would actually be kind of cool. You two, hopefully I'm pegging both of you to come and hang out on this thing at some point in time as well.
Oh, show.
Cool.
Showsies.
It'd be fun. It'd be good. It'd be nice. We'll see. But yeah,
So-
I'm done breaking into actually, I'm done breaking into shit for money. Let's just put it that way.
I just don't talk about it. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm clicking shit and whatever.
I can give you the URL to get into JPL stuff if you like. You just click around in there for a little bit.
Can't hear a thing you're saying right now. Maybe it's your speaker, maybe it's your microphone, maybe it's my speaker. I don't know.
Gosh, I just hope, well, famous last words, hope is the folly and all that kind of good stuff.
You guys all just froze there for a second. I don't know what's going on. The screen just locked up. The lights flickered. I mean,
oh,
Solar
dear.
flares, maybe.
that's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Not my fault if they are. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with your topic,
Yeah.
what were they thinking? I think in many cases people aren't thinking. We just do shit and we take a lot of stuff for granted. So there are people who have the ability to not do some of the shit that they do. I think there's also a group of people that they just don't give a fuck. So, you're not going to hold me accountable anyway. So I don't give a shit. It doesn't hurt me.
I know.
And then I think there's I think there is a portion of the people that just can't help themselves. We know that there was a study I read from years ago, and I think it still holds true, that 30 or 35% of people will click a link even when they know it's malicious.
Mm-hmm.
If it's crafted well.
Just to see.
Yeah. So, there's that FOMO. Everybody's got fucking FOMO. That's what leads to so much of the technology we adopt all the time, not knowing two shits about how it actually works or what kind of risk it puts my family in.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
So, I think that's my father basically beat it into me. Think before you speak.
Yes.
Think before you do something.
Yeah.
And when I didn't, and there were consequences for it, he made me suffer with them, and I learned it.
There was one, I can see if I've got it. I think it's on the back of the laptop. Oh, hang on a sec. It's a really, really, in fact, it might not be because I got all feeling I lost the damn thing. There it is.
The random ramblings of a distant British man.
Nope, I found it. I found it.
Well, here's
many-
another theory, Ryan. Here's another theory. So I had a father who drilled that into me.
Mhm.
I had no choice whether I was capable of learning it or not. If I wasn't capable of learning it, I'd probably be dead. But now we have society where I think we devalue the importance of fathers. We devalue the importance of passing wisdom from one generation to the next. I wonder if how much of this is related to, lack of direction. You just never got.
I would
What
say
you
a
need.
fair amount of it. And there was a recent story that ties into this, because I've often pondered when it started to shift from what I knew to be somewhat stable and consistent from generations prior to kind of what we're in now. And for me, it was when we weren't allowed to fight on the playground anymore. And fast forward a handful of years and you have your first school shootings, because little boys can't duke it out and pop each other in the face. I remember being dragged. So-and-so is an asshole. And the two fathers would make sure you got together and pop each other a couple times. And then that, work it out, boys. And so when that stopped being okay, I think was part of it. I think the demoralization of men as a whole while trying to fix a segment that needs fixing, right? I think we went through that period where, there's a lot of masculinity in and of itself is toxic, when really that's not the case. What we were trying to deal with were assholes, and we were mislabeling that behavior. And so fast forward, you get to a point where there's not a lot of fathers or active male role models in the community and in the family. So there's a school in, I believe it's Philadelphia, and they were having this huge problem with fights all the time. Like, it was out of control. It was getting really, really bad. And like 5, 8, 10 dads in the community, you guys can like Google this news story. But anyways, they decided enough is enough. And all they did literally was go be in the hallways, be present, and do dad stuff. So shooting stern looks, hey, get to class, and joking with the kids, right? Not just all the negative, but just doing what dads do, telling terrible jokes, what do you call this and that, and just doing just basic dad stuff, nothing special, not trying to control the kids or any of that. 1 week later, fights are over with, grades have gone up, the students are happier to be in the school, all because these 4 or 5 guys come stand around and give a positive reassurance as they pass through the hallway. So I don't know if it's, to me, your theory has weight, because there's a real world, like recent, the last couple of weeks example where dads just being dads made the biggest difference and impact in all the kids' lives. Like, and we're talking, 1,000+ kids here.
Logically, it's got to be a contributing factor. I'm not saying it's the cause, but I don't think that's the thing about us.
I don't think there's a singular cause of any of this.
Yeah, it's numerous.
But that's the shit about our society today, is we look for the thing. Give me an easy button. Like, give me the vaccine and the fucking virus will be gone. It's still here. Oh, fuck. Okay. So it's like, there's a number of contributing factors. Take, poverty, take racism, take anything. It exists, but it's not a singular cause. There are multiple things. And I think, in general, we're just kind of lazy, and we don't want to do the work.
Well, there's that too. There's that whole allergy to hard work thing that happened. And that, I believe, is because of convenience, right? Go back 100 years. And if you were 3 years old, you were carrying as much water and firewood as your little body could handle. And you were going to work, you were going to earn, we had to eat, we had to work, we had to eat. And then convenience and more convenience, and frozen dinners and this and this and this and the microwave. And so these things are awesome, but we start to get further and further away from our food. Did you know that, and I'll find the study, but like, there's a significant percentage of kids that don't know that the food in the grocery store came from an animal or a plant. They believe it comes in plastic containers. Like, that's how the food, you go to, they make the food at the grocery store. You go there, you pick it up I'm dead serious. I'll find the study. It's ridiculous.
That scares the crap out of me. Again, different life, different world. Speaking of different lives, different worlds, I found what I was looking for. Sorry, I'm going to scroll for a second and then go back to it. First thing, probably for the audience, if some of the audience doesn't know, name this card. Does it say on the front before I do that? Oh shit, it does. All right, name this card. You should be able to see it from this bit. It's this far back. It's got the recognized blip on the front, and everybody should be able to figure out what it is. This is my war driving one for when I really need to go old school, old school. This also has a modem slot on it for all the obvious reasons. No,
why are you flashing serial numbers and other visible information?
Oh, please, do you know how many serial numbers I've left in all sorts of rubbish bins in different parts of the world? God, and this one hasn't been used yet. Have at it. Enjoy. In fact, feel free to use it.
Well, most people wouldn't know what to do with the serial number.
That is true. All right, is that legible or not? Do I need to read it?
It's upside down.
Upside down.
Oh no, wait. Quick to listen.
It's the one I want. All right, so I'm gonna quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger.
There you go.
The last part I'm not so good on. I'm gonna be honest, but the quick to listen, slow to speak, I'm better at it these days. The slow to anger, still got a bit of work to do on that one. Let's be honest.
I don't know, man. I think you're pretty good at it. You know, and we talked about this in, I don't know, many episodes back when I couldn't reconcile mentally how people were burning down their own cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was because they weren't slow to anger. They were almost incited not to be slow to anger.
Absolutely.
Because the reason why you want to be slow to anger is you want to give, you know, it starts off being really emotional, right? Initially, you're like pissed as hell. And then eventually that subsides and logic starts to take over. And it's that logic that like, okay, that's not a good, reasonable response for this. I love that saying. It's so true. And we see it play out every day in society. Yeah,
it's I need to probably just print out another copy and put it somewhere, because that used to be, that was one of my old working laptops, and I need something probably stuck. Oh, speaking of things stuck somewhere, by the way. Ta-da.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Upside down spaceship penis on hovering over my nest now.
All right, Chris, I found you a study from the neck of the woods from your preferred news source that a third of children don't know where the food comes from.
The BBC, civilized people.
5 to 16-year-olds, by the way.
Oh, okay. So hang on. Cheese can be made from plants. Those that are lactose intolerant, you can have cheese from plants. So I'm going to get on a quarter thing. The fish fingers come. Oh, that's not good. Fish finger. Have you ever had do you get fish fingers in this country? Like proper?
Not a big fish guy. Yes, there are such a thing as fish sticks in this country. We call them fish sticks.
Fish sticks, fish fingers.
Yeah, fish sticks.
I'm not buying into your bullshit. Fish don't have fingers. They don't even have hands, man.
Yeah, they do. They got the little fuzzy things at the end of the flappy things. You take that, you coat it in batter, you fry it. It's good. It's a fish finger. Get over it.
Really? You eat that? Fucking English people are weird.
Nearly 1 in 10 secondary pupils thinks tomatoes grow underground. Okay. No. Bless them. All right. So we're about as dumb as a box of rocks as well. Splendid.
So yeah. So part of the problem that we have is we're not teaching the right skills to the kids. We're not teaching the right things. We're teaching them shit they don't need. Have you guys seen the new mathematics they use? Here's 15 extra steps to get to the same answer you could have got 2 and 2.
I've seen. I always remember having to do long division. I'm like, why can't I do it? Why do I have to prove? Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't seen the new craze. Ooh.
Let's see. What the hell is it? They tried putting the kid through it, and I was like, oh, we ain't doing this shit. Well, the old math still works.
I got a horrible feeling Mo went through some of that craziness as well, and she actually had to explain it to me. Oh yeah, it was the weird stuff that goes all over here. I'm like, why don't you just do blah, 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 blah.
Common Core? It's that Common Core shit.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't you use it? Well, we're not allowed to do that. I'm like, I mean, I know math has moved on. Let's face it, some of us still fuck around with it, but the basic principles haven't really changed. By the way, you should be able to do that shit in your head, figure it out, or at least the other voice should be prompting you for the answers.
So I think the part of the problem though is we've got a new world, we've got a new society, and we need to have those conversations. We got to pivot and adjust. What are we doing with this? You know, we did it with the car. When the car first came out, we didn't have any rules. We didn't have any regulation. We just, you know, it was a fucking free for all, but it was fine because only a few people had it. And then when people started getting run over, well, we better solve for that. So then stop sign, stoplight, right? Lines on the road. Hell, we didn't have mandatory seatbelts until what, the 80s, the 90s, before it was like mandatory that you wore a seatbelt.
I know. I want to say, when was it in UK? Didn't we have this conversation a while ago? Mandatory seatbelt.
I believe until relatively recently, an open container and a loaded gun on the dashboard in your car in Louisiana and Texas was good to go.
I think in some parts of this country, it's still good to go. Oh my God. Okay, this goes back to that damn TV show I was watching. I mean, bless some of the police. Maybe it's because they're on camera, they're being a bit more civilized, but some of them, the patience of a freaking saint. I would have taken some of those people out and just beaten them against the damn tarmac a few times, put them back in and said, I am your father figure. What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, seatbelts. Compulsory equipment on equipment 68. It did not become compulsory until 83 to wear them.
Okay, so the car was invented when?
A long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Alabama, primary enforcement 91, 1990. Bloody Americans. You really just,
Do you know the legal precedent that they used to do that because it was being argued that it was an encroachment of freedom?
It doesn't fucking surprise me. Let's face 91, 86, 80. Oh, somebody, California, ignore me on that one. District of Columbia, 85. Surprise, surprise.
So the legal precedent was you have the right to die yourself by not wearing a seatbelt, but you don't have the right to become a projectile. Thank you. 94. Okay, so you have the right to take your own fucking company out, but you don't have the right to take mine out.
Michigan.
We got to get to that level of conversation as a society.
You guys are 97 in New Hampshire. Well, that makes none for adults, primary for minors in 97. You guys are, well, it's New Hampshire. What is that live free or die? Apparently it is live free or die. Wow. All right. Anyway,
live free or have Geico not give anybody in your state coverage because you don't have a seatbelt law.
Oh, is that what it was?
Something like that. Yeah, it was the insurance industry started. Once it got to a certain tipping point, they didn't want to do the actuarial math. They didn't want to have to try to account for. So they started pushing for it because it was, once the stats came in and they started to see it actually was effective in reducing.
Yeah.
They didn't care about reducing death. They cared about reducing costs.
Reducing costs, yeah. Oh, bless. All right. We, gentlemen, are approaching the top of the hour. The second hour, I want to point, not the first hour, the second hour.
As always, guys, it's been good.
Yeah, I've appreciated it. Thank you. We got to unload a little bit, which was appreciated. I'm still fighting for the inner voice. I figure if I can keep going for another 5 or 6 years in this lunatic asylum, I will implant an inner voice into everybody. I mean, it might be my voice, and it might ask them for a cup of tea in the morning, but I will make sure everybody gets an inner voice.
Just hijack Neuralink, FDA trials to begin.
Already on it. Body area networks are mine.
Middle of this year, FDA trials, if everything stays on track.
Been there.
Body area how we'll get it in. We'll put Evan, we'll record you and Evan saying a bunch of wisdomy shit.
Yeah.
And we'll just,
wisdomy shit.
They have to hear it before they can click the link. That's what we'll do. We'll tie the neural link into the email and we'll modify the on-click event to, instead of executing the link, to play some wisdomy shit into their head that makes them pause. And then we'll give them a prompt that says, are you sure? Well, what the fuck? There it is. Why the hell don't we have a prompt for links in emails that goes, are you sure? Yes, no. Why is there not a second step? Dev teams, get on that.
Can you imagine the fun we can have when we're able to do a body area network to device network? I mean, I am so fucking looking forward to this shit. I will finally have my own little set of minions. I'll be happy.
I'll be in Mexico going, fuck you.
It won't be a zombie apocalypse. Actually, this is okay. Sorry, we're squirreling. Fuck it. Before we go off of there, we're squirreling. We are not. It's not going to be the zombie apocalypse or any of that shit. It's simply we're going to basically brainwash, and more so that we're training everybody at the moment. I mean, it's working pretty well. Let's face it. We're training everybody, but then we're just going to reinforce it with the messages through the body area network. It literally is going to. Oh, I'm damn. Okay.
Money.
Money.
I want fun. I'm gonna have fun. Seriously, I am so gonna have fun. You're gonna have people doing the fucking hey Macarena at 3:00 in the afternoon, just randomly. I mean, when the president goes up for the inaugural speech, but if that motherfucker hasn't been bloody.
What? I'm sorry. What was that? You were breaking up there.
He'll stand up and declare war on somebody in his inaugural speech. Oy vey, we're gonna have some fun with this shit. Actually, all right, with squirrels, we need this one. We need a body area network.
God bless. I love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
I'm trying to get people to think will be our lifelong goal.
We're gonna program them. Fuck it, I'm done. We're programming them. 5 years, programmed, done deal. All right, love you guys.
Let's do it.
Good night, dude.
Love you too, man.
Take
You guys
care.
be safe.